I have a very special episode for you. I am interviewing Don GV, a 24-year-old ex-student, now professional property investor who has just made himself an extra £12,000 in under 4 months.
America's now welcome to Mr. Liam Ryan!
Don, hey, welcome. It is absolutely fantastic to have you on the show today. Thanks for coming down. You've got a remarkable story, and just at the young age of 24, you are now a professional property investor. You've just got your first deal secured that's set to make you £12,000 profit over the next 12 months, focusing in on serviced accommodation, rent to rent. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, it's pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And a real inspiration to people tuning in that really there is no age barrier to success in property. So let's take the audience back. What did life look like and what were you doing before you decided that, you know what, property is going to be my route to success?
So I was a student. I was studying business management at university with investing and finance. So I already had my head in the business game, and I was looking at ways that I could make a lot of money because I want to do lots of good in the world. I want to help others. Yeah. I actually went along to one of your events in 2019 when I was shopping around the different academies.
The different training companies. Yeah,
indeed, yeah. And I decided to go with Assets for Life because I really resonated with how you teach your style.
Okay, great.
So after I graduated, invested right in the course.
Okay, great. So that desire to be successful, make more money, where do you think that comes from?
It came from my background in animal rights activism. Right. Because 4.5 years now, 4.5 years ago, I decided to adopt a vegan lifestyle. And pretty soon I felt like this is a message that I really want to spread with the world, that it could really help lots of animals and people. One of the most profound ways we can make a big impact on this planet. Wow. And so I wanted to find a way to raise a lot of capital so that I could help others spread that message.
Wow, brilliant. So this is amazing. So using an asset class, i.e. property investing, to generate income, to give you the time, the freedom, and the voice to go out there and actually have a big impact on the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's really commendable and a massive well done. So you decided to come to my 3-day property millionaires boot camp. You know, you came and hung out with me and Jay and the rest of the team, and it was lovely to connect with you. You're actually now one of our academy members. We're here today at one of our live mastermind meetups. Why did you decide, Don, that you wanted to get involved with rent-to-rent serviced accommodation?
I went for rent-to-rent because I looked at the entry costs for a typical deal, and I saw that you could do it for around 5K for a decent deal. Compare that with larger projects like flips, BRRR, land developments. And as a young person with limited experience, I thought it would be quite more obstacles to overcome. Yeah. So with less capital, less risk involved, I thought that's a strategy for me. But also because service accommodation is such a high cash flowing strategy. Yeah. It's like you're milking the property for every pound you can get, going night by night instead of month by month.
Excellent. And I think that's a really good call. It's about looking at what's important to you, where you want to go, how can you generate cash flow the quickest? And you know, with rent-to-rent serviced accommodation or with HMO, it's minimum cash in, maximum profit out. You've not got to go through the buying process. You've not got to go and raise big lumps of cash. You can literally get involved for a few £1,000s, get the keys and be up and running and generating cash flow really, really quickly. So when you finished the 3-day property millionaire bootcamp, how long did it take you to get that first offer accepted?
So that was in the middle of September, and I signed the contract the middle of January, so around 4 months.
4 months, so just 16 weeks after being professionally trained, being on our academy, which is our mentoring masterminding program. Now, when you got the keys for that first deal, how did you feel?
I was thrilled. I did a little dance, me and my partner. We were just so happy to have overcome the first step, the most challenging part of getting that first deal.
Great. What would you say was the biggest challenge in that process, getting the first deal?
Lots of rejection. You've got to have a tough skin, especially when you're starting out, you haven't got any deals yet.
Yeah. It just goes to show it's a pure numbers game, isn't it? Sometimes you might get deals on your first outing with a landlord or with agent. Sometimes you've got to go through 200 phone calls. But the reality is when you're persistent, when you have that courage, when you're being supported and guided and you've got that drive and determination, it really is possible, would you say, for anybody tuning into this? So if someone wanted cash flow from property, can they do it, Dom?
Absolutely.
Great.
I needed to find the investment money. I needed to find a guarantor who's going to put their self on the line for me. Those were some of the biggest challenges I faced too, and overcame them.
Yeah, and you know, every successful business owner, property investor, we face challenges. And it's how we deal with those challenges that either moves us to failure or moves us to success. And you know, there is always a way to overcome every single challenge. So let's talk about the deal then. So where is the deal? Is it a house? Is it a flat? Is it 2 bedrooms? Is it 4 bedrooms? And how much do you pay the landlord rent?
It's a penthouse apartment in central Stevenage.
Great.
It's a new build, a couple of years old. We pay the landlord $1,200 a month rent, and it's a 1-bed flat. And even though the rent seemed high, around the deal analysis, the numbers stacked and we're making profit.
You're making profit. And have you had bookings so far?
Yeah, we've been 80 to 90% booked.
Wow, excellent. So already first unit, 80 to 90% occupancy. And have you changed the pricing structure at all, or do you just charge by the night and it's the same rate for the whole year? How have you worked out your pricing structure for that apartment?
I use a dynamic pricing tool called Price Labs, and that plugs in with my channel management software. So that sets the prices dynamically based on the market conditions for that day. It's an intelligent AI software.
Okay, great. So have you got anything coming up this year where you could really put your prices up? And if so, what is that?
Absolutely. There is an event in Nebworth near Stevenage happening next month.
Great.
We are the last apartment in Stevenage with availability. So we've ramped the prices up to £800-ish a night, and we've sold one, still waiting to sell the other one.
Wow, brilliant. So that's obviously going to increase revenue, that will increase profits. So what would you say over the course of 12 months will be your net profit on that first deal?
All in all, 11 to 12K.
So 11,000 to 12,000. That's really good going. You know, the minimum that you'd really want to make from a rent-to-rent deal is about £500 or £600 a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll do a lot more than that. You know, we've got people we work with. Hajia, one of hers is over nearly 40,000 a year just from one deal. But to get that first deal in at around 12,000 a year, you must be really proud.
Yeah, it's a great achievement.
Really?
It shows me what's possible.
Great. And obviously that was direct to vendor. What's next for Don? Like, you know, have you got your second one in the pipeline? Where are you going to be in the next 6 or 7 months? What are some of your targets? Are you going to want to scale this? Give us a bit of an indication as to how you see your vision and the future as a professional property investor.
Sure. So I've got a hungry investor with lots of capital to do 5 or 6 rent-to-SA deals,
Right.
and connections with other investors. So I've got the money now. I just got to find the deals and get that going. Aiming for 6 deals by the end of the year. Hopefully we can push past that.
So we're now May 2022, moving into June. So yeah, look, there's no reason why you can't do one a month. You know, no reason why at all, and you know, end up on 5 or 6 by the end of the year. You just talked there about having this investor. Well, where did you find this investor? You're only 24. 24-year-olds can't find money. What's going on?
Well, I just followed your advice and posted in the AFL community. And it's a person who is in the academy.
Great.
That saw the things I was posting, saw me doing the live videos, talking to agents on the phone, and we went for a coffee, had a chat. Yeah, we've met up quite a lot of times now. We built that trust, and we know each other.
Great.
So it's looking promising.
Well, you know what? This is music to my ears because this stuff does work. That's one of the powers of being in an academy and in a mastermind. Assets for Life is now the UK's premier property business and wealth training company, high success rate. And the fact that you've now found an investor through the mastermind is absolutely fantastic. And how would you say your confidence has grown over the last few months being in this process?
Phenomenally, I'd say. Going to my first 2 networking events and trying to seem like I was kind of amplifying my strengths, as I said, saying I'm a service accommodation provider, I do corporate short stays, and then I don't have any properties. It kind of felt a bit conflicting, but now that first one's over the line, I can say it with conviction.
Yeah, and you'll find now you've got that first one, you've got more social proof. The first one is always the hardest. You're going to follow a simple process so you can work on the business rather than in the business. And I've got no doubt in my mind that you're going to be one of my biggest success stories, over this next 1 or 2 years. And I don't know about you, but do you feel that just rent-to-rent serviced accommodation is just like the start? You're going to want to get into bigger stuff?
Yeah, so the end goal is land developments.
Wow,
I want to get the cash flow going through Rent to SA, so that I can not have to worry about trading my time for money at a job anymore and focus on high-value tasks like generating masses of wealth through land development.
Excellent. Well, look, you know what? I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions. So answer them in 1 or 2 sentences. And then we're going to finish off by sharing some really big top tips out to our amazing audience.
Sounds good.
What keeps you motivated?
The plight of animals in our world.
Okay,
and wanting
great.
to help them.
In property, how have you overcome challenges?
Surrounded myself with a peer group. I host a group weekly. We talk about Rent to SA topics and keep each other accountable and inspired.
Fantastic. In terms of what do you do in your spare time? What do you like doing?
The business.
So you really are a real entrepreneur, yeah? Never switching off. I'm pretty much 7 days a week, 365 days. I think when you find your passion and you find your calling, we never really switch off, right? Because we're always looking for that next deal, always looking for that next investor, always looking for that next opportunity, not only where we can make big income, but also have big impact. And I think that's really important. There's a lot of people out there that need a lot of help. There's a lot of people suffering. The last couple of years have been extremely difficult, but you and I, we can be the difference that makes the difference. What's your favorite film and why?
Well, I'd say Interstellar.
Oh.
It reminds me of how precious time is.
Okay, great. And if you could spend a day with somebody, past or present, who would that be and why?
I would say Ed Winters. He's a prolific figure in the animal rights movement, and he's super inspiring to me.
Fantastic. I love this vision you've got of animal rights, and I can see that you're really passionate about it, and I can see that property is just really a gap to generate income, create wealth that's actually going to lead you on to much bigger things.
That's the plan.
I think that's absolutely amazing, and there's no reason why not, mate. You can't be in the top 1% of speakers in the UK, similar to me and other people that I work with. So look, there's a lot of people tuning into this. People starting out, people looking to scale, people with challenges, blocks. I can't get the money, I can't get the deal, it's too hard, I've got no experience, blah, 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 blah. What would your 3 biggest tips be out to our listeners?
First of all, I'd say get educated. Surround yourself with a peer group and mentors such as yourself and Mr. Jane Munoz, who can really help uplift you and inspire you and give you something to work from, like the mindset and things like that.
Fantastic. That's number 1. Number 2?
Yeah. Number 2 would be to systemize your processes. Get really clear on what exactly you need to do with agent outreach, messaging landlords, monitoring finances, and block off time to do these in an efficient way so that you can get more done with your time.
I really like that. Block it out. Because a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, but they don't use some type of diary system or processes and procedures. It's actually not that difficult if you apply the time in focusing on high income generating tasks. And if you're starting out in property, one of the highest income tasks is finding bloody deals. And you've got to put yourself out there, right? That's a really good tip, Ton. And top tip number 3, what would that be?
be active on social media.
Great. Do you think
Share
that's
your
really
story.
made a difference for you?
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
helped you get up and running?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm scared of social media. I'm worried about what people are going to think." But hey, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're probably right. And it's really important to step through fear and say, you know what, I'm going to try something different in order to get something different. You know what, it's been an absolute honor and a privilege to see you grow from that first ever boot camp to where you are today. First deal in the bag, £12,000 net profit, there or thereabouts. And there's big things for you, Don. So really appreciate you coming down and doing this today. I'll tell you what, let's do a catch up at the end of the year and then we'll see where you're at and make sure you've got those 5 or 6 deals in the portfolio, because on 5 or 6 deals, you could be up at 60 or 70 grand a year, earning more money than most doctors, lawyers, professionals. And that's going to be an amazing thing.
Fantastic. Sounds good.
Cool. Nice one.
Thanks for having
Cheers,
me.
Don. Thanks very much, mate. Great.